Honk honk, it's Bouncy here. When people talk about abandoned grounds, there's something about secluded and unfrequented places that go hand in hand with ghost stories. Usually, all it takes is an abandoned place and the local legends will start to weave their webs. Urban explorers seem most attracted to abandoned places that were once whimsical and innocent, like amusement parks and malls. Maybe it's because these types of places hold remnants of what was once childhood that make them magnets for nostalgia. In Edmond, Oklahoma, all of the best ingredients were there to make a perfect candidate for this phenomenon. A circus, abandoned grounds, and a lot of rumors. This is the story and the truth behind Gandinis Circus, a so-called abandoned circus that people love to gossip about and explore. You can even find directions to Gandinis Circus in Google Maps, but you're not actually going to Gandinis Circus. A few Google searches will bring you to some sketchy sources that claim Gandinis Circus was operated in the early 30s. A few more searches and you'll find out that Gandini never existed. An article even cites that local historians have never found any evidence of these claims. Gandinis Circus just wasn't a real circus whatsoever. In fact, the only evidence I could find to the contrary came from a Reddit comment inquiring about the ground's current state, and in that comment the person claimed to know the Gandini family. So the only rumored connection to the name Gandini, albeit unreliable and probably untrue, was that the grounds were somehow called Gandinis Circus because there was some sort of Gandini family. I'm inclined to doubt that. Gandini is the perfect sort of name to attach to a circus, an Italian last name with a bit of flair to propel the legend of a lost circus even further. There's actually already a company called Gandini Juggling, which focuses on, you guessed it, juggling. But just because Gandini's circus wasn't ever a real circus doesn't mean these aren't real circus grounds. The real story goes like this. A man named Howard Sues owned two circuses. First, he started the Clyde Bros circus, which is an indoor-focused circus that traveled to perform in places like stadiums, and then in 1949, he created the more traditional Hagen Bros circus, which was an outdoor circus. The general manager of these circuses was named Robert Cool, and he went on to own the famous Cole Circus. The general representative, Joe McMahon, went on to tour with the Kelly Miller Circus. I actually found a letter from Howard Sues with the names of all three employees, including himself, to corroborate these claims. These circuses, owned by Sues, used the property in Edmond as a winter base, the property that people now call Gandinis Circus. It mostly housed the animals and performers and those who handled the animals. In 1976, Sues sold both of his circuses to Carden & Johnson International Circus, and this was when the winter camp itself was moved again to a new location. I couldn't find any photos or information on Carden & Johnson until I actually found evidence to support this from eBay of all places. Someone was selling an old coloring book dated 1976, which matches up with the claim that that was when Sues sold his circus. From the Carden & Johnson Circus coloring book, I looked at the back of it on this eBay listing, and it details that both Carden and Johnson were friends who performed together in the circus and went on to own a circus together. And then it talks about how they were cooperating with Howard Sues and his Clyde Circus. And it also has some photos from this circus and Howard himself. Hi, Howard. While trying to find more information about Sues' circuses, I did find an article dated from 1958 that stated that the Hagen Circus has accidentally left behind 4 monkeys and that circus employees had to go back for them. This made the paper, and then later on when they went on to advertise their circus again, they did so with 4 monkeys. I'm not sure if it's related to it at all, but I did find it interesting. But anyways, after selling the circus in '76, all of that unneeded equipment was just left to deteriorate. From there on out, the land was given to Jose Beretta, who was a lion tamer for Sues who had lived with his wife and sons there. I'd like to stress again that their last name is not Gandini. After that, it was set to be abandoned for decades. Currently, the land that Gandinis Circus is set on was purchased, and it's recently been reported as of July of this year that there's plans to develop the lot and turn it into some kind of multi-use development with a circus type of theme to pay homage to its roots, whatever that means. I'm not sure. I did, however, read on a Reddit post that locals probably shouldn't go there anymore because there's cameras and the cops will most likely be called on you. But if you ever wanted to visit there, it's probably best to just enjoy the many different videos of others doing so and check out the photos. Most, if not everything on the grounds has withered away over time and was becoming less and less to explore as time has eroded the past anyways. When we talk about haunted places, I often wonder if people just assume circuses sound more haunted because they associate clowns and ringmasters with horror movies and different types of haunts and attractions. But if you really think about it, the true horrors of the old-time circus were the ones being done to the animals, the people, and the nature of the circus itself. It's crazy how many images I found of the Hagen Brothers circus for sale on places like Craigslist and eBay from local people who had access to this stuff. It's actually insane how much history just lies in drawers and photo books left to rot. If I had to bet between a circus tent being haunted or an actual winter camp where tired performers and animals laid their heads before they faced the hardships of travel and performance, I'd take a bet that somewhere like a winter camp would in fact be more haunted. Not even by actual ghosts, but just by the dreams and the hopes of the performers that live there, like emotional residue left to settle into the dust of the property, peeling away the paint on the old trailers. Maybe that's why these places are so attractive to us. The nostalgia, but also the sadness. The unknown pain we sense here and feel here without actually seeing it. Although Gandinis circus was never actually a real circus, the winter grounds for the Hagen Bros and Clyde circus was real, and I think it's interesting to uncover the mysteries and truth behind places that are shrouded with rumors and word-of-mouth tales. Well, I hope you had fun learning about this stuff. Bye-bye!